Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well, and that you're all having a great day. To start things off, Bitcoin surged above the key resistance levels today as bulls gained control and propelled markets 10% higher. There's a little chart right there and everything is in green. Data from Coin360 and Cointelegraph markets showed the BTC to USD gaining around $700 during Thursday trading, topping out at around 77.60 before reversing lower. Volatility was high at press time in light of the swift advance. Bitcoin circling around 75.20, give or take a couple of dollars. The move caught many analysts and traders by surprise. Previously, the yearly starting range for Bitcoin at 7,200 was the level to recapture to improve bullish prospects. Nonetheless, Bitcoin flipping its 50-day moving average resistance to start earlier in the week provided a hint that the strength was returning to the cryptocurrency. Attention remains on the block halving in May, something which could seriously impact price performance as the supply of new Bitcoin drops 50%. We were just talking about this a couple of hours ago. There were so many people out there who were talking about that there was going to be some type of a bullish reversal within the cryptocurrency market. At the moment, there are a couple of things going on, and it's a little weird because of the significance, the timing of all these things that are kind of happening. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says Bitcoin skyrockets to 7,700, almost fully recovered from the 12th of March collapse as gold, oil, and global markets soar. This one right here, as you might have also guessed, or rather, maybe not, I guess, it says Stellar Rally. Once stagnant altcoin, Stellar Lumens, outperforms Bitcoin by 30%. For some reason, at the same exact time as well, there was a huge jump up in the price of Stellar Lumens. At the moment of me making this video, there does not appear to be an exact reason as to why this happened. There was no stellar news, no news of integration. When things usually like this happen, I assumption that it has to do with some type of news that is happening behind the scenes that we just simply have not gotten yet. And eventually, about a week, I give it 6 days, the news will pop up. This movement up will make sense. But then also you have the discussion of, well, who knew the news before all of us and who was able to buy up that coin before said news was released. Now, this is where it gets a little weird, everybody. Those of you not looking at the screen, it says U.S. jobless claims rise another 4.4 million. 26 million Americans already lost their jobs amid number 19. This news was just released. It also says it right here, which is something that we're also going to have to get into as well. So new jobless numbers were just released. Apparently, I think this 4.4 million rise in jobless was just this week alone. This wasn't the month. This was 1 week. Now it totals around 26 million. Once again, people who are actually eligible to actually get the jobless help. Can't remember the exact name for it at the moment. So when that news was released, for some reason, stock market started going up, which doesn't make a lot of sense because we are in really, okay, you don't have a stock market propelling upwards on negative news unless there is manipulation, which is probably exactly what all of this is. A lot of the news that we've been talking about, a lot of the news from JP Morgan Chase, a lot of the news from Bloomberg, the other analysts, the other banks, the other institutions have all said and come up with the exact same conclusion that this is probably the same situation that we have going on right now. And especially the relative negativity in the global markets is probably going to be with us for quite some time. And anyone who thinks that there's going to be a swift reversal and or that all the industries that have been affected are going to not suddenly be affected are probably not right and or not paying attention to exactly what's happening around the world. So this is the second time that this has happened in about 3 weeks. We also had this situation before where we got negative job news, and for some reason the stock market started to rally, and people were like, oh, that's because the optimism's coming back in the market. And it's like, no, that's not optimism. That should be fear, especially when you get the actual reality of the news. So I'm going to read this to you and just tell you why none of this really makes any sense. For those of you, once again, not looking at the screen, it says opinion. Why it's not so crazy that stocks are rising even though 26 million people are out of work. Just the sound of that doesn't even really make a lot of logical sense when you say it into the air. Unemployment continues to rise in the US amid a government-mandated shutdown of the economy. Initial jobless claims for the week came in at 4.4 million on Thursday, pushing the total above 26 million and producing an estimated 15% unemployment rate. Do you understand how staggering of a rate 15% is for 15% of your population to not have a job? That is staggering, especially when you take into account that not all 100% can work. You also have a lot of people who are over the age of X, who are retired, people who are disabled, people who are not physically or mentally able to actually work, and then you also have people under the age of 16 and or 18, depending on where you are, who are just not able to work as well. You also have the 18s to 21s who are maybe in school, not in school right now, but you kind of get the point. So 15% is insane. This article says the question I'm being asked most is, who is buying this stock market? Question mark. Many investors believe the stock market has gone bonkers. Because it has, it doesn't make any sense. Saying it has become totally divorced from the reality on Main Street. I agree that the stock market isn't reflecting the economy. There are many reasons for it, and the details would be subject of a future column. It kind of comes down to the fact that you can even read some of the stuff around here. A lot of people could be potentially buying because things look depressed in price, and therefore they may look like they're a bit easier to buy. Things may be down a bit low. A lot of people may be claiming that eventually within the next couple of weeks we could see a spike once again in the things that are happening within the economy, and that things could start to get back to normal. A lot of this you have to also remember and understand is also something to keep in mind. The news that we've been getting over the last couple of months has been that governments around the world are actively buying up massive amounts of securities, commodities, stocks, bonds, mutual funds in an attempt to keep things buoyant, floating. It would not be out of the question to assume that if a government is printing 2.5 trillion to push into stock markets, that they're probably waiting for a dip in prices and then to start buying it up to maybe push prices back up to make it seem as though things are better than they actually are. That seems actually to be the most logical of things that are actually taking place. Okay, I thought that was an actual message for me, just a little pop-up thing. Yeah. A lot of the stock market doesn't make a lot of sense right now. We've been getting news from actual like major players for the last 6 weeks who are like, yep, expect further losses. Things are definitely going to go down. Also, keep this in mind. I read an article discussing the actual negative oil prices that we saw just a couple of days ago, and they discussed saying how interesting it is to be able to watch a market collapse and then to, I guess the word speculate can jump into this sentence, but to also then speculate that a lot of the major players who lost the most on this, on the other side, maybe had someone else who was also probably buying up massive portions of it as well. If you have something that was previously, and you know at some point there is probably going to be another demand for people to buy oil, one can only assume that if something drops from 100 to 15 to 2 to 1 to minus 38, it's probably being bought up at a very discount price. And then the moment the price goes back up to 15, guess who made the most money? The same people who we assumed were also going to be losing the most as the market was going down. So at the moment, yeah, the stock market's up, gold is up, oil's up, crypto's up, and only one of them really makes sense, especially when you actually know the, I dare not say the word history. The point is, only crypto should even be remotely up right now. Just once again, based on fundamentals and the actual usage of these coins, the actual trading of it, the actual miners getting back into the Bitcoin scene. Can you imagine if there had been a situation where, I mean, it's just, I can't even put it into actual words. Imagine if this news was reflective of in some way Bitcoin. Imagine if Bitcoin had 26 million something that was lost on this network, or there was like a new record. Every single week we saw another rise by 4.4 million of something of Bitcoin that had been lost or destroyed or been decimated or been affected. Bitcoin's price would probably not be going up, so it doesn't make a lot of sense that the stock market would also go up. However, like I said, this is the news that we have right now. I'm going to assume that a huge portion of why Bitcoin even jumped up is also because traditional markets also pushed up. That's as far as it actually goes. I've come to the conclusion, I won't say it, it sounds too mean. Yeah, I won't say it. It's pretty much that I think people who are not in the cryptocurrency space don't really get it, and I don't think that they're going to get it. So any hope that anyone out there might have had that the cryptocurrency prices were simply rising off of people around the world who were like, I get it now, and they started buying crypto. No. At least that's how I see it. Say what you want. Give me your ideas. I always like to hear what other people like to say, but at the moment, everything's up. And yeah, without further ado, let's move on. In possibly one of the weirder news stories that we've had over the last couple of days, distributed ledger firm Ripple and its CEO Brad Garlinghouse have filed suit against the video sharing giant known as YouTube. YouTube, a subsidiary of Google, is being sued for its alleged inaction on the issue of fraudulent scams that have targeted Garlinghouse, among other business leaders. According to a report by Fortune's Jeff John Roberts, Ripple and Garlinghouse are seeking an unspecified amount in damages. The complaint states that Ripple and Mr. Garlinghouse have suffered and continue to suffer irreparable harm to their public image, brand, and reputation as a direct consequence of YouTube's deliberate and inexplicable failure to address a pervasive and injurious fraud occurring on its platform. I'm not going to even read through all of this. That's a lot of text to actually read. The news of the last couple of days has been, and it keeps popping up, and I thought for some reason that I could avoid it. Nope, it's not possible, because it keeps popping up no matter where I look on the interwebs. People from Ripple are now suing YouTube over the allegations that remember all the scam accounts that we were talking about a couple of months ago? Hey, you send me 1,000 XRP, I'll send you back 10,000, and people were falling for it. And they even had a lot of things where Mr. Garlinghouse was, people were posting previous interviews of Brad Garlinghouse from a year and a half ago that were being figured out by other people who are really into Ripple and XRP, who could even notice exactly the things that he was talking about and the dates he was talking about, and they were like, nope, that's an old video. Apparently, at some point, this got back to Ripple, and they decided to take action. And the only reason why I even discuss this now is because the other side has also finally discussed back. YouTube is responding to a lawsuit filed by Ripple and its CEO Brad Garlinghouse that alleges the video sharing site's deliberate inaction is making it easy for scammers to steal cryptocurrency. The lawsuit demands compensation for damages. Ooh, okay, it's a lot. The lawsuit demands compensation for damages to the company's brand and reputation due to YouTube's failure to stop fraudsters who are impersonating Ripple and Garlinghouse. In an interview with Bloomberg Technology anchor Emily Chang, Garlinghouse says fraudsters were hard at work trying to rip people off long before the 19 happened, which has triggered a significant spike in online scams. What we are seeing is scammers are taking advantage of the platform. Frankly, this has been going on as relates to cryptocurrencies, as relates to Ripple, and specifically XRP. It's been going on for well over a year. In response, YouTube is refuting the notion that it ignores fraudulent activities on its platform. The company says it has taken down millions of suspicious videos in its efforts to police the platform, which we all know they've done. We take abuse on our platform seriously and take action quickly when we detect violations of our own policies like scams and impersonations. I'm going to be 38 bajillion honest % with all of you right now. It does nothing for the claims of decentralization when you as a company, Ripple, come forward trying to sue another company for alleged what have yous. There have been scams against Andreas Antonopoulos / Bitcoin, if you want to throw them in the same category. There have been scams against Vitalik Buterin and Ether. There have been, I think, a couple of Lumen scams, but it's typically the top 3 coins. I've seen a couple of Litecoin scams, but they don't really pick up as much. I can tell you from personal knowings YouTube reacts very quick when they notice anything that might be deemed fraudulent to them or that might hurt their image. I think it's a little weird that Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple are suing YouTube over something that YouTube, first of all, you have to understand, if there's a situation where not only I got messages from YouTube, they have it on the actual panel thing. It says, because of number 19, we don't have a lot of people in the offices right now. So therefore, certain things may get flagged and or taken down and or have issues as we have less people in the office, and therefore we cannot supervise and or police as goodly is not a word, as best as we used to. So I have a very strange, I mean, it just all feels a little weird, if you kind of get what I'm saying. I wonder if this lawsuit is going to be dropped. If not, I wonder who's going to win it, because YouTube really does comb through everything when it comes to their platform. They make sure that nothing is there. And also, you have to understand, just because you take down 300 in one day doesn't mean that there won't be another 300 the next day. We've seen cryptocurrency scams explode over the last couple of years. If there's somebody or a group of people who have made 15,000, 25, 35,000 in a day, and all their videos get taken out, and all they have to do is post new videos or have them live for the course of an hour, hour and a half over the course of 15, 20 other different channels, and they make another 35,000, you bet your bottom dollar they're going to do it again. I think it's weird. It's a little weird. I won't lie. Just gonna say that much. Not really much more to say. Kind of, like I said, I kept on seeing this everywhere. At first, I thought it was a news articles like this sometimes pop up on other websites. A lot of times they're not real. You have to kind of like cross-examine isn't the word. You have to kind of find the same information in other places as well. Lo and behold, it's actually real. And I'll be 1000% honest. Once again, it does nothing for the actual idea of how decentralized you or your company or the coin that is loosely affiliated or strongly affiliated with you are. When you talk about irreparable harm to the public image, brand, or reputation, like I said, I don't think Vitalik Buterin is crying in a room or has planned a lawsuit against YouTube. I don't think Andreas Antonopoulos has. I don't think Charlie Lee is planning on doing so as well. Ripple and XRP's reputation are or have been harmed by the people who just didn't like it since 2016. These people had nothing better to do with their time. They've been very resilient trolls, and they've made sure over the course of the last couple of years to really keep that entire narrative going. And I think that, if anything, they are the ones who have actually harmed it, not so much YouTube. Like, I don't think YouTube is actively taking a part in either creating or keeping these things up on their platform, just because. Anyway, that's my, I dare say, 2 Satoshis on the actual thing. Like I said, I couldn't ignore it. I think it's very weird. I think it would be better for everyone if the lawsuit was just dropped. Not taking sides, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it's a little weird. Like, these are going to continue to happen whether YouTube takes them down or not. These are not just happening only on YouTube. They're happening on many social media platforms. I assume if they're under other YouTube clones, they're probably happening there as well. We had news before that there were fake cryptocurrency advertisements on Instagram and on Facebook, as far as like, this person's promoting this coin, this person's going to give you free coins, send us some coins, and people have fallen for them as well. It's odd. It's weird. I think this is probably not the right time to even initiate a lawsuit, but alas, here we are. Once again, doesn't do a lot for the premise of decentralization if you're launching a lawsuit because of the things happening against XRP. Anyway, yeah, let's move on. Next up, Bitcoin has been on a remarkable run over the past decade. Despite the recent downturn, case in point, the cryptocurrency, which first traded at less than 1 cent, I know it hurts to hear that, is now worth upwards of $7,000 US. A percentage gain that is literally in the hundreds of millions of percent. I know that still hurts to hear that. While such a gain is ludicrous in and of itself, some say that Bitcoin still has room to run, a lot more room. In a recent research note Raul Pal, a former Goldman Sachs executive and hedge fund manager, explained that he thinks the cryptocurrency could be worth upwards of 5,000% higher than it is today. Over the past 12 months, Pal has become one of the loudest Bitcoin bulls that hails from Wall Street, highlighting his bullish position time and time again in a number of interviews. Seemingly every time, he gets more and more bullish. His recent mention of Bitcoin in the April edition of Global Macro Investor, the research business Pal runs, was no exception. In the research note, Pal explained that he thinks while Bitcoin is already the best performing asset, it's about to rally even higher in the coming 2 years. He didn't give an exact figure, but rather a range, anywhere from 100,000 to 1 million, which corresponds with a market capitalization of anywhere from 2 to 20 trillion US dollars, respectively. In reference to the chart being shown below, showing the asset is coiling up for a monumental breakout, he wrote, "The chart is spectacular. I think it hits 100,000 in the next 2 years alone, but it could go to 1 million in the same time period." And there's his little chart, big chart, if you will, right there. As crazy as this may sound, Pal has reason to be so bullish on Bitcoin. Namely, he thinks there is a risk of failure of our very system of money, or at least a collapse of the current financial architecture. The leading cryptocurrency stands to benefit from this by, he says, it is an entire, trusted, verified, secure financial and accounting system of digital value. It is nothing short of the future of our entire medium of exchange and of money itself and the platform on which it operates. Notably, this prediction is much more cheery than he made recently. Speaking to a precious metal company in February, Pal said that he expected Bitcoin to hit at least 20,000 in the coming 12 to 18 months, similar to what Dan Moorhead has also remarked. This is, a trend, the current news, the constant news that we're getting all the time. I guess it's more so to reiterate the bullishness of all the major players behind the scenes. We keep getting news about 4 or 5 times a day. I have to whittle them down to just a couple of discussions, if you will, about all of these things that keep happening. A lot of people think that Bitcoin's going to move. A lot of people think that Bitcoin's going to move very soon. A lot of people think that Bitcoin is going to move, and it's going to move up very fast and very strongly and very a lotty. And then at some point we are going to have a $1 trillion market cap. When that, that for me is kind of the, I'm looking forward to 2 things. To Bitcoin hitting $20,001, and also for it to hit $50,000, which is the $1 trillion market cap that we have all been expecting for quite some time now. I think that's the more accurate word to use. Yeah, it happens over and over. And like I always say, if it was just one person, I would go, ugh. All right, but the fact that we keep getting news like this over and over and over, and everyone uses their own metrics, everyone uses their own charts, and this is why I think it's fascinating that we have these like really crazy numbers out there. They go, by the end of this year, we are expected to hit anywhere from 20 to 50,000. By the end of next year, we have anywhere from 100,000 to 1 million. And then after that, mum's the word, and all the numbers kind of get completely insane. About the point you hit around 2028, you have either a $500,000 Bitcoin to a $15 million Bitcoin. Either way, it's fascinating. I will not lie, I don't mind a $500,000 Bitcoin. I would love a $15 million Bitcoin. That changes everything. However, yeah. Anyway, this keeps happening over and over, and I just kind of love to pass on the news to everyone out there that there are tons of millionaires and billionaires out there who are paying very close attention to the cryptocurrency market and believe that at some point Bitcoin is going to have a 6 or 7 figure price just for a Bitcoin. Fascinating, no? And to finish things off, Starbucks and McDonald's are reportedly among 19 restaurants and retail shops that will be involved in testing China's central bank digital currency in the country. The Reformation and Development Commission of the district in Hebei, I don't know how to say that, province reportedly convened a meeting on Wednesday regarding the rollout of the pilot for China's digital Yuan initiative. A local news outlet reported on Thursday, citing a government document. The move signals China's wider efforts to test out the digital currency project, with state-owned commercial banks already developing wallet applications. for the digital yuan known as DCEP. Why not? The news outlet said the meeting involved representatives from government agencies, of course, China's 4 state-owned commercial banks, of course, and financial Tencent, as well as 19 restaurants, entertainment, and retail shops that will participate in the test. Notable names include McDonald's, Starbucks, Subway, JD supermarkets in the area, among others. The report does not specify when the test will start or how long they will last. Assumption it's going to be happening probably next week until around June, because these are the time frames, just rough time frames, as to when this was officially planned on being launched. And I assume if they're doing tests or we're receiving news about the tests that are going to happen, this is probably a go. And they're probably going to be doing it relatively soon. Yeah, so it's interesting how Starbucks kind of gets reeled into everything, even with the entire Baked app thing and being able to pay in Bitcoin. Starbucks was also the first company that was also announced as being the test goat, test animal, test something for the let's be able to spend Bitcoin here kind of thing. And also, I guess in China, let's be able to spend our government currency here as well. Kind of fascinating. We'll see exactly how it goes. I'm assuming just, you know, this is probably going to go off without a hitch. I'm going to assume that people are going to use it. Why? Because people will be forced to use it. That wasn't a joke or a anything. Like they will be forced to use this, so therefore it has to work, kind of thing. But yeah, we'll see how this goes, because we keep getting news like this or news similar to this every other day. So we know that the currency's happening. We know that it's going to be trialed and tested. And I guess they're doing it in smaller cities and or districts or provinces before the major places. Anyway, yeah, that's that news. And let's move on. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Should probably get their names out because I don't remember them. Professor Wally from Gunbite University, Yasha Harari, Moonman High XRP, The Pothead, Joshua Vineyard, Martin Stroyer, Josh Gorsico, Chongololo, Tsongololo, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, Bibliophobia, Barebones Mining, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysig, Mohammeroni, Massive Ventures in Thailand, Brittany Neal, Jairus Tana, Wise Night, Owl, 242 to the World, Crypto Joe, Bankroll Network, Adobo, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Nicholas One Peace One Love, Damien Setson, Nick Kanaya, Richie Wish III, Vlad, the Impaler, Crypto Bishop, Paxis, Nick Manja, Devoli, Anthony Charles, Jim Garner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Mother Hishash, and Cowskip, Leg Day, Yes to Crypto, Button Me, Buttface, Anytime Fitness, Mouse Corner, Sapphire, Arithmetic 17, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger, Machinista on Crypto with Lionel, Crayola, Michelle URL. And hold on, I have to sneeze. Thank you very, very much for your support. The moment. You can see that Lumens is lumining itself. Not a huge amount of volume. However, it's also not a minuscule amount of volume. It is $722 million worth of volume over the last 24 hours. Lumens is up by almost 18%. Who the heck knows why? Cardano's up by almost 9%. That's wonderful. Tezos is almost up by 8%, give or take. And Bitcoin is currently up by 5.5%, sitting at $7,500 US. Once again, no real reason as to why this happened. We also seem to have hyped and then dragged along, if you will, kind of trending sideways. See if this continues into the later hours and or evening time. It would be great if we went over 8,000. That has constantly been noted as a heavy layer form time of resistance. However, we haven't been there in quite some time. But I mean, to be honest, we've completely bounced back from the 3,500 that we hit just a couple of weeks ago. That is always nice to see. If we were still at 3,500, I would have my sentiment would be a little different. However, the cryptocurrency market continues to rebound. It's just a matter, is it rebounding off of logic? Or is it rebounding simply because the stock market has also gone up? No one knows, and that's the magic of all of this. I think that's all for this video. I do hope you all enjoyed. I do hope you're all having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and listening. Make sure to... If you can, to go outside, stretch your legs, get some air, open a window, read a book, watch something funny, entertain yourself, call a friend, do something nice, bake a cake. That cheers me up. If I'm ever having a low day, make some pancakes or some make a cake. Cheers me right up. Yeah. Why do I always lose my place at this point? Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.